Hi everyone, I'm Rosina Plain, and I hope you've been enjoying making up the Merry and Bright, which is what I'm calling the Advent CAL I've designed for Crochet Society this year. And yesterday you would have been doing some overlay mosaic crochet and ended up with something like this. Yours will obviously be a lot wider if you're making the blanket, but I've just whipped up a quick little swatch here because I wanted to take you through how to do a slightly different technique for today. So I've actually based, I call it Jacquard mosaic crochet. I've actually based that on overlay mosaic crochet, which is what you were doing yesterday. But this one is designed for texture. So you may not be able to tell because we used all these colours yesterday. But overlay mosaic is also creates some really nice texture if you do it in a sort of in the right way for that. So I've actually developed that a little bit further, so we're going to be turning at the end of the row, so you won't need to, you won't have all these ends like we did yesterday, and we'll get a nice little textured pattern, but all in one colour. So in your box 9 you should have this lovely lemon drops colour, so that's what we're using today, and we're going to be starting this first row is exactly what you've been doing already yesterday here. So we're going to start with a standing double crochet. Okay, so in that very first stitch, standing double crochet, and then we have got a front loop treble 2 rows down, so we're going into this first available front loop there, and it's a nice easy repeat because we've just got so the one front loop treble, and then obviously make sure you miss this stitch behind that, and then we're going to just be working a little run of 7 back loop double crochets, so ordinary double crochets but just into this back loop like so. So that's 4, 5, 6, 7, and then we've got 1 front loop treble again, and that, if you look, it's always, if you've got your counting correct, that should always be falling in the center, this loop here above the center one of these 3 trebles from a couple of rows ago. So there we go, there's our front loop treble. Then we've got another 7 back loop double crochet, so you're just going to repeat that all the way along. Okay, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1 front loop treble. Okay, so that's what you're looking at there. So just carry on along like so till you get to the end. As I've only got one more repeat to do, I might as well do it while you're watching. 4, 5, oops, 5, 6, 7, and then we're going to end up, when we get to the end, we've got 2 stitches left there, so we've then got 1 front loop treble, and we're going to do our last stitch. It's going to be double crochet there through both loops. Okay, so when you were doing your overlay mosaic down here, you were actually fastening off at the end, but as I said, we are going to be carrying on and turning. So this time we are going to do 1 turning chain. Now that doesn't count as a stitch. I've actually got it at the beginning of the next row on the instructions, but it is a turning chain, so it's just that 1 chain to allow you to turn around and then have your hook in the right place. So all we're going to be doing on this row is, we're going to start with a double crochet through both loops. And now to make the Jacquard mosaic designs, what we're going to do now on the wrong side rows is work a double crochet into this front loop. Okay, so just that front loop like so. I'm going to do that all the way along. So if you see there, we're going to be working into just that loop. Okay, so just into that loop there. So make sure you don't accidentally do that and go under both loops, because that'll make the next row a bit tricky. So we've got to make sure it's just into this front loop here. Okay, so you can just do that all the way along until you get to the last stitch, and I will see you there. Okay, so I've now got to just the last stitch on row 2 of day 9. So yeah, it's quite a simple plain bag, and this actually shows you really nicely how with overlay mosaic crochet you get the sort of striped back. So that's what you'll get because you've been doing one row in each colour. The back looks stripy, the front has the pattern. Okay, so we now just finish this row with 1 double crochet through both loops. So there we go, we've got both loops there. So, and that's that. So then we turn, and remember 1 turning chain. So I'm now looking at the front. So this is what the right side rows are going to look like. So hopefully you can see, if I just bring that a little closer, that you've got a nice row of front loops there that we are going to need to create our pattern. So just like the front loops down here, but we created them on the wrong side this time. This is the right side, but we did the front loop double crochet on the other side to leave us a front loop when we now turn around to the right side. Okay, so our first sort of jacquard mosaic pattern row starts with, I've already done the turning chain, so as always it's going to have everything on this pattern. We're always going to be starting with a double crochet. So now we have got 2 front loop trebles. I'm going to start with that. 1, 2, and now we do something a little bit different to what we were doing with the standard overlay mosaic down here as well. When we get to our double crochets on jacquard mosaic on the right side, we're going to be working through both loops. So you still need to make sure you've missed these 2 stitches behind the trebles you just did, but then so you're going to go through both loops, so just a standard double crochet now. So what we've got is 2 double crochets and then 1 treble 2 rows down there into this front loop. So that should then, as you can see, line up lovely with this sort of trunk of our little tree here, our little upside down tree. Okay, so if you notice, if you're looking at the pattern, that 2 double crochets, 1 front loop treble 2 rows down are in square brackets. So whenever you see the square brackets in one of my patterns, you need to look at what it says immediately after there. So that says twice. So we've got to do what we've just done there twice. So that was 1. We've now got to do another 2 double crochets, again through both loops, and then 1 front loop treble 2 rows down. So that is our first repeat. Okay, so now we need to start, there we go, from there. So we start again the next repeat with another 2 front loop trebles, 2 rows down. Okay, and then 2 double crochets. So okay, make sure you're missing 1, 2 stitches, 3 stitches, because you had 1 at the end. So 1, 2, 3 stitches there to marry up with our 3 trebles. Okay, so make sure you're missing all of those. 1, 2, 3, and then you've got 2 double crochets and 1 treble 2 rows down. You need to do that again, remember, so 2 double crochets, 1 treble 2 rows down, and then we start or repeat again. This will be the last time for me. You'll have a few more to go, but the 2 front loop trebles, 2 rows down, 1, 2 double crochets, 1 front loop treble, 2 double crochets, 1 front loop treble, And so you carry on and do that until, like me, you get to the end there. You've just got 2 stitches left, so you'll then finish off with another front loop treble, and finally a double crochet into this last stitch. Okay, like so. So there we are. So hopefully you can now start to see the texture. Depends on the light and how clear it is. Okay, so that was row 3. Row 4 is actually going to be exactly the same as what we did on row 2. So we've got a turn with 1 turning chain, and then we start with our standard double crochet through both loops there, and now it's just going to be a row of front loop double crochets. So just a row of double crochets just into that front loop, so exactly the same as we did on row 2, right up until you get to the last stitch, and then that last stitch is going to be a double crochet through both loops. Okay, so I'm just about to the end of row 4 now. Just got to that last stitch where you just remember, there we go, to insert your hook under both loops to finish off your last double crochet. Then we turn around back to the right side, 1 turning chain. Okay, so this is what we're looking at the start of row 5. So for row 5 we got to start, say I've just done the turning chain, 1 double crochet, and then it's easier repeat this time really. So we start with 3 front loop trebles, so 1, 2, 3 trebles into that front loop 2 rows below. Make sure you miss the 1, 2, 3 stitches behind. Then we've got 3 double crochets, 2, 3, again always through both loops on the right side rows. Then we end or repeat with 2 more front loop trebles. Okay, 1, 2 front loop trebles, 2 rows down. So that is our first repeat. So we're going to start again with 3 more front loop trebles, so that will obviously give us a little run of 5 together. 2, 3, and then we've got 3 double crochets. So you can just carry on repeating that all the way along. So this first repeat ends with 2 front loop trebles, 2 rows down, and the next one starts again with 3 more. So you have 5 front loop trebles, so that's 4, 5 front loop trebles together, and then 3 double crochets. So you'll repeat that all the way, along until you get to the end, and you should only have room for 3 front loop trebles at the end. So that's the 2 that complete our official pattern repeat, and 1 more that we tag on the end to balance out the pattern. So that's it, you've got your 3 front loop trebles there, and then you end with 1 double crochet. Okay, so now we're almost finished on part 9. You just now need to do 1 more return row, and that's going to be exactly the same as we did on rows 2 and 4. So we turn, we've got a 1 chain turning chain, then we start with a standard double crochet through both loops, and then we're just going to do, there we go, as we have been on the wrong side, front loop double crochet into every stitch except for the very last one, which will go through both loops. There we are. So this is now how it looks on the wrong side row. So I've just completed row 6 and I've now fastened off because we're finished with that colour now. So hopefully you can actually see you do get a little bit of a texture on the back as well with the sort of stripy lines. So this is the wrong side. When you turn over, this is what you're going to be looking like on the right side. So here we are, ready for day 10 tomorrow.